If you're looking for a good movie to watch that's based on a true story, then you've come to the right place, because in this video, I'm going to give you 5 movies currently streaming on Hulu that you just can't miss. And we're starting right now. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan, and this is where I review movies and shows from a variety of different platforms to help you manage your expectations so you're not left disappointed. And if you want more lists just like this one, make sure you hit the bell notification and the subscribe button so you're kept updated next time I get ready to upload a new video. So right now, Hulu has a number of great movies to choose from, which is why this is the second video in a playlist I've created over Hulu's best movies. Now, in that first video, I focused on Hulu's best dramas, and you can catch it in the card above right here. But for this video, we're going to be focusing on movies based on a true story, and we're going to start with Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman. This one looks at the life of psychologist William Marston and how his relationship with 2 different women influenced the creation of the most iconic female superhero of all time. Professor Marston was an inventor working at Harvard University when he met Olive Byrne. Now, she soon became his own personal assistant, and the 2 of them realized they had a strong connection. The only problem is Professor Marston was happily married to wife Elizabeth. Now, this is where the story takes a bit of a twist, because instead of that betrayal destroying their relationship, it transformed it. Somehow the 3 of them were able to build a life together. This movie really looks at the complexities of that relationship and its contribution to the creation of the character of Wonder Woman. It also looks at the controversy surrounding that character and the influence it had on feminism in the early 1940s. Now, as great of a hero as Wonder Woman may be, she is no substitute for the real thing, which brings me to the next movie on our list, World Trade Center. This is a story that is all too familiar for anyone who remembers the events of 9/11, but this time it's told through the eyes of 2 Port Authority officers that find themselves trapped in the rubble after the first tower collapses. Sergeant John McLaughlin and Officer William Hamano are some of the first responders on the scene after the first tower was hit. Now, in the midst of all the confusion, the 2 of them, along with a number of other officers, begin gathering supplies at the base of the building, but before they can render any kind of aid, tragedy hits, and now they're the ones in need of rescue. Family is an important part of these men's stories. Now, each of them do a great job of convincing you of the level of commitment they had to their families, and in spite of their similar circumstances, each individual's struggle was kept unique and personal to that character. Now, this isn't the only show on Hulu that looks at the events surrounding 9/11. They also have a limited series called The Looming Tower, and if you're interested in that, you can check out a review I have for it in the card above right here. Tonya is next on the list. This movie looks at the life of Tonya Harding, a prominent up-and-coming ice skater in the early 90s. It explores the effects her unconventional family life had on her career. You see, Tonya wasn't your typical ice skater. She had a rough exterior that often conflicted with the wholesome image many wanted to project. But it was her rivalry with Nancy Kerrigan that put her future at risk. You see, once her husband saw how law enforcement handled certain threats, he began putting events in motion that would ultimately lead to an attack on Nancy. Margot Robbie does a great job with this character of Tonya. She was able to take someone who is hated by most and make you empathize with her without sacrificing Tonya's aggressive personality. When this one is finally over, it will have you rethinking everything you know about Tonya Harding. Now, if you really enjoy movies that make you think, you're going to love this next one on our list. A Beautiful Mind stars Russell Crowe. He plays the brilliant mathematician John Nash, but unfortunately what he has in brilliance, he also lacks in social skills, making interaction with others difficult. Now, when we first meet John, he is in search of what he considers to be a truly original idea. And it's that brilliance that brings him to the brink of international recognition. But we soon learn what proves to be his greatest asset also turns out to be his biggest challenge. In the years that follow, his work begins to put a strain on his home life, bringing him to the brink of paranoia. If John is ever going to find true peace, he'll have to confront his demons and come to terms with his new reality. One thing I love about this movie is how it plays on perceptions. People once thought to be John's friends slowly become the source of his turmoil, and those thought to be rivals end up being trusted allies, eventually leading you to ask the question, who is to be trusted? Putting you as an audience member in the exact place John finds himself. The next movie on our list is one of my all-time favorites, Braveheart. Now, this is going to be one of the more liberal entries on our list because instead of being based on a true story, it is inspired by the life of Sir William Wallace and his efforts to free Scotland from the King of England. Now, after his wife is brutally killed defending herself against a British soldier, Wallace vows vengeance against anyone who will stand in his way. This leads to rebellion and eventually all-out war with the King of England. Edward Longshanks is as menacing and as ruthless as you would expect him to be, creating the perfect villain for a newly knighted Scotsman. In contrast, Wallace is elegant but relentless, stopping at nothing until the day he can see his countrymen free. I love how well this movie is constructed because every piece of it seems to add to its quality. The story is powerful, the scenery is beautiful, and every one of the characters are portrayed brilliantly. Now, I'm sure at this point most of you have seen this movie, but if you haven't, make sure you check it out on Hulu while you still can. So those are my picks for Hulu's best movies based upon true stories, but we're not done yet. So make sure you come back next week where we look at some of the scariest movies Hulu has to offer. And as always, if you've made it to this point in the video, that means you must have liked it, so why not go ahead and give it a thumbs up. You can check out some of my other reviews off to the side here, and if you want help managing your expectations in future Hulu releases, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you're kept up to date next time I get ready to upload a new video.